Hi everyone, this is Likita. Today I am here to give article review session on consumers punish firms that cut employee pay in response to COVID-19. About the authors of the article, first Bhavya Mohan. She is the assistant professor at University of Francisco. Serena Hegarty. He is doctoral candidate of Harvard Business School. Michael Norton. He is professor at Harvard Business School. Coming to the introduction of the article, there are two experiments, including one incentive compatible study, examine the impact of cut pay for executives versus employees in response to COVID-19 on consumer behavior. There are two studies in this article. Study 1 explores the effect of announcing cuts or no cuts to CEOs and employee pay and shows that firms commit to paying employees their full wages leads to the most positive consumer reactions. Coming to the study 2 further examines the effects of announcing employees and CEO pay cuts. Though announcing CEO pay cuts in tandem with pay cuts can help mitigate the negative effects of employee pay cuts, consumers respond most positively to firms which prioritize paying employees regardless of their strategies for CEO pay. Coming to the background of the article, in March of 2020, retailers, food service providers, airlines, and factories around the world shut down as the coronavirus pandemic spread. Some firms focused on layoffs and furloughing and reducing pay of employees. Consumers facing retail employees were hit particularly hard. This article explored consumer reactions to CEO versus employee pay cuts for two main reasons. First, cutting CEO pay during the pandemic was largely seen as a reputational move, but the effectiveness of such cuts in shaping positive consumer sentiment has not been assessed. Second, in contrast to the more than 300 publicly traded firms announcing executive pay cuts, far fewer firms have publicized a different potentially effective reputational move, a commitment to paying their retail employees through the pandemic. Let's see the study 1 in detail. The key objective of study 1 is to examine whether revealing employee salary cuts versus CEO salary cuts affects consumers in an incentive compatible context. In this study, participants read about four firms and were asked to choose which firm they would like to receive a $50 gift card to in an actual lottery. For this study, they used a method called design and participants. There are 501 number of participants in which 41% are female and average age of the participants is 37.07 years and standard deviation is 10.67 and were recruited through Amazon Mechanical Truck and paid a flat rate for compensation. All participants were given initial instructions that they were going to read a description about four different companies and be asked which company they would prefer to buy from. Result of study 1. Overall, the disclosure of payment decisions influenced which retailer participants to choose. Participants in the disclosure condition were significantly more likely to choose Columbia after reading the company cut the CEO's salary but kept paying retail employees. Participants were also slightly more likely to choose Nike when informed that the company kept paying both CEO and retail employees. However, participants in the disclosure condition were significantly less likely to choose Cohels after reading the company cut both CEO and retail employees' salaries. Overall, Colombia had the greatest increase in participant choice in the disclosure condition by cutting the CEO pay and continuing to pay retail employees. Here is the figure showing study 1. Consumers responded the most positively to the firm Columbia that cut the CEO's pay and continued to pay retail employees' salaries. Coming to study 2, examine whether consumers' purchase intentions are affected by disclosure of information about firms' decision to cut or to continue to pay the salaries of the CEOs and retail employees. Study 2 also examines a potential mediator, the role of perceptions of financial pain to employees as a result of these salary decisions. For this study, they used a method designed and participants. Here, the participants are 630 and in which 63% are female, which are and who are average age is 46.08 years and standard deviation is 16.48 were recruited through an Amazon mechanical truck panel and paid a flat rate of compensation. All participants were given initial instructions to imagine that they were looking to purchase a pair of shoes and found a highly quality pair at a price point below their budget being sold online by a well-known retailer. Coming to the study 2 measures, as a primary dependent measure, all participants were asked, given the opportunity, how likely are you to purchase the shoes from this retailer? 1. Not at all likely. 7. Very likely. As in study 1, participants were asked how much pain the company's decision causes the retail employees and the CEOs separately. 1. None at all. 7. Very much. As a secondary measure, they were asked how fair they thought the wage the retailer pays its CEO is and how fair the wage for retail employees is. 1. Not at all fair. 7. Extremely fair. Coming to the results, when retail employee salaries were cut, participants indicate greater willingness to buy if CEO salary were also cut compared to when CEO salary was paid in full. Coming to the general discussion of both the studies, two experiments examine how executive pay cuts versus employee furloughs influence consumer purchase behavior. A firm's decision to continue paying employees matters more to consumers than executive pay cuts, according to study 1. While CEO pay cuts can help mitigate the negative effects of cutting employee pay to some extent, consumers respond most positively to firms which prioritize paying employees. These effects are mediated by perceptions of financial pain to employees. This is study 2. This study also demonstrated a mediating role for pain caused to the employees and showed that the results hold when controlling for individual wages lost. Future work can examine whether CEOs can take additional actions to mitigate the pain felt by employees, such as offer sick leave or paying for medical benefits. Further work can also examine whether firms can recapture lost goodwill from consumers by rehiring prolonged employees, providing bonuses, or increasing pay. However, a firm's decision to support their employees upon disclosure can be publicized by the news media, activist groups, politicians, and competitors. Thus, consumer-facing firms who prioritized paying their employees could gain equity as a result of greater customer awareness. This article, Consumers Punish Firms That Cut Employee Pay in Response to COVID-19, is taken from Harvard Business School Working Papers. Thank you.